Aquarius, welcome back to the Sunny Virgo. So today we have another cusp video and we're going to talk about the Capricorn-Aquarius cusp. So if you're born between the 16th and the 23rd of January, this video is for you. And we're going to talk about your traits, your struggles, and how you can deal with those struggles, how you can make your life a little bit better being a cusp. So if you missed the first video where we talk about cusps overall and I give a few tips about being a cusp, definitely go check it out. The link is going to be in, those little cards. And don't forget to smash the like button and to subscribe if you haven't already. If you're interested in tarot readings, this is the place to be. And for private reading, the link is going to be down below. I help you out in kind of figuring out how your energies are and how you can balance them. And also, very, 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 very important, if you haven't already, I would really, really appreciate it if you would go fill out the cusp survey for me to understand your cusp a little bit better and get a little bit more information to help you out in a better way. So with that being said, let's get into it. So let's get started with your traits, and keep in mind that you're more than your sun sign, you're more than this cusp. Your whole birth chart is important, so definitely take a look at it. But talking about your cusp, you're ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So this makes you very, very intelligent, very hard worker, but also an idealistic. And this actually is a great combination for creative success. You're super ambitious, but also very creative. So you have this sense of responsibility for the world, and it's like you want to take care of the world. But the good thing is that with that Uranus energy, with that Aquarius energy, you actually have a different perspective. You have a new way of taking care of the world. And that new way, that new perspective, it's what brings you to success. And not only that, but you actually inspire others to do the same. You inspire others to have big dreams and to fight for those big dreams. You inspire others to find solutions because you're so good at finding solutions yourself. It's like you see a problem and you're like, we're gonna solve it. How? We're gonna figure out, we're gonna brainstorm, we're gonna see how we can do this way, but maybe we can also do this way. You're always trying to find for fun and different ways to solve your problems, and you have like this crystal clear focus. It's like, this is what I want, this is I'm gonna get it, especially when it comes to career, obviously. But you really inspire change and you really open other people's minds. Because of that creativity, again, you're a great problem solver, but also you have a ton of ideas, and it's so important that you actually use those ideas, that you actually put the energy into them. Because the thing is, with this cusp, Saturn and Capricorn, it's very structure, stability. Aquarius and Uranus, it's like, woo, let's be wild, let's be free, So it can be a little bit tough to both to kind of balance those both energies of stability but also freedom. And how do you do that? How do you find that balance? We're gonna get into that in a second, but one of the ways is just take action towards those ideas, create a plan, brainstorm with other people. You're great at communicating with other people, so discussing ideas, discussing views, you're great at that, and I feel like that inspires you a lot as well, and it actually helps you out a lot as well. So one thing for you to perhaps overcome is your willingness to speak up and use those communication skills, because Aquarius, I feel like Aquariuses sometimes have this thing of like, I'm the outcast, right? And with Capricorn, it can be like, let me be in my world, let me be in my zone, But if you do use those great communication skills, you can get so far. And now that we're talking about communication and everything, let's get into relationships. And here we're talking about every type of relationship. So keep that in mind. But, your cusp is called the Cusp of Imagination for a reason. I do feel like you fantasize and you dream a lot. And because of it, you sometimes may seem a little bit detached for other people. And I feel like people sometimes may have a little bit of a hard time reading you and understanding like, what do you want? What are you trying to say? That could be why that Aquarius energy then comes forward and is like, bro, I'm an outcast, no one understands me. And that's totally understandable and that's totally okay. But I do feel like a big part of it, it's because you love interesting conversations. Number one, I mean, more than that, you have the Capricorn side, right? So your expectations are like, woo, right here. And people can find that a little bit intimidating to kind of meet those expectations and to prove to you that they are actually, bro, I'm trying to work on this. I'm trying to give you my attention. I'm trying to give you my love. I'm trying to give you my energy. And with that Aquarius energy, it's like you really love interesting conversations, deep conversations that stimulate you, Aquarius is an air sign, and air signs are all about the mental, are all about thoughts, and If people cannot give you that stimulation, that mental stimulation, I feel like it gets pretty boring for you. And it's like, you may really find that person attractive, but if they cannot give you that, it's only a matter of time until you kind of lose interest. So that could actually be something that you kind of face with your relationship. It's like, you're so hot, but bro, you cannot keep a conversation, so you're out. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, because you're actually a great friend. And I feel like people really can rely on you, and I feel like they find you so kind and generous, and it's like, when you're with them, you're with them. However, because you have all of this, sometimes it can get a little bit into aloofness. It can get a little bit complicated for you to sometimes listen. And it's not only about like listening. Again, if you're having a really interesting conversation, it's like you're listening, you're there. But because you really love those deep conversations, when it comes to hey, how are you? How's life? How's career? How's work? It can get a little bit tough for you when it comes to that. But they respect you, and your friends, your relationships, the people that love you, they respect you and they admire you so much for it anyways, especially because you have that new perspective, right? And if you actually listen, if you're actually there with them, you're actually able to explore a whole new world with them. It's like you're able to open new doors, and that's what they find most captivating about you. That's what they love the most about you. It's like they tell you something and straight away you're like, oh, but have you thought about it this way? And they're like, my life has changed. But yeah, I really feel like people do admire you and they appreciate you so much. Shout out to my sister, by the way, because she's a Capricorn Aquarius, and I feel like you guys are so great and you have such beautiful minds and you're so intelligent. So please use that in your advantage, okay? And don't let anyone tell you that you're not. I also feel like, you know, this Aquarius energy, it's a lot about humanity and community. And so I feel like you have this incredible ability to put yourself in other people's shoes. Not necessarily, that is the interesting thing, is that it's not necessarily with compassion. It's really like, oh, okay, I see what you're seeing, you know? Not necessarily the, I feel what you're feeling. It's, I see where you're coming from. I totally understand that in a mental level. Not that you don't understand them in an emotional level, but I really feel like you really are able to put the pieces together, and it's like that story is your story and you would know exactly what you had to do if it was your story. Now let's get into your struggles, and actually one of the first struggles that we were talking about, it's very related with this last thing. So you have this incredible ability to put yourself in other people's shoes on a mental level. On an emotional level, it can get a little bit complicated, which is okay, but the reality is you may actually sometimes struggle with, you know, friendships or just people overall coming and going very, very easily. And it is because, you know, as much as people love those interesting and deep conversations, they do feel this need for an emotional side. So if you don't put in the effort to really connect with your heart and to open your heart to those people, it can get a little bit tough for them to kind of open up. You know, when you stop opening up to others, others are going to feel like there's an emotional barrier there that they cannot get through. And so it can get a little bit like, well, I am starting to feel like this is one-sided, you know? And so they may start to fade away. Those friendships may start to fade away a little bit. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to really connect with yourself. And actually, I'm talking about this in my moon, which is how you deal with emotions, how you deal with expressing those emotions, is in Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius. So I do also struggle with this, of opening myself up, of putting myself out there and talking about my problems. And this is something that I'm actually working on. And the reward when you start working on that is you start to see that people start to trust you more, even more, and people start to open up with you even more, and they are not afraid to be there for you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask them to be there for you and be there for others. Another struggle that you may actually have is that, you know, your mind is full of ideas, right? It sometimes can have too many ideas and it can get a little bit overwhelming, and it's like, I have so many ideas, I don't know where to start, I don't know which idea is actually good, and try to settle it down a little bit. Try to calm down and try to create a list. Put all your ideas down. No idea is wasted, okay? But try to put those ideas down. And again, start to make a plan. Start to use that Capricorn. Start to brainstorm, okay, this idea is related with this. How can I bring this idea forward? And, you know, try to mash it up. How can I bring this dream into reality? Because I feel like sometimes, because you're always with so many ideas, and also sometimes you're so focused on thinking of the future and possibilities, you sometimes can miss some opportunities because you're not fully rooted in the present moment. So that Capricorn side is super important for you to connect with nature, for you to ground yourself. Now let's get into a final thing that it is something that I like to call in your neighbor, which is we do have two energies. Us cusps, we deal with two energies, which sometimes it's a curse because it's like one is fighting the other, but sometimes it can actually be a blessing and it can actually be your solution, because if one energy is way too high, you can start and go looking into the other energy and be like, hey, dude, help me out here, because Aquarius is going nuts. So when Aquarius is being a little bit nuts, that is when you call it in the Capricorn, and exactly what we have been talking about of grounding yourself. So meditation is really important. Journaling is also very important. Music actually could be very significant for you because, you know, Capricorn deals with time. So, or just, you know, any type of art that deals with time. So dance, that could also be something good for you to connect with the present moment. But just allow yourself to be in nature, allow yourself to be in the present moment, and really focus on those routines. Really focus on your morning routine, night routine, make sure that you're having it. And gratitude, that is one of the biggest things that it could really help you out, bring some balance into your cusp, because again, Aquarius is so filled with ideas and so filled with imagination and possibilities that when things don't really happen the way you expected them to happen, you can get a little bit disappointed. So you don't fall into a rabbit hole, right? And then it's just like, oh, this didn't work out, and look at that didn't work out as well. Gratitude. You really go and look, okay, this didn't work out, but I mean, look at that, we have that, and I'm so proud of myself for that, you know? I feel like that could really help you. But on the other hand, Capricorn can also get a little bit nuts. And for Capricorn, getting nuts points out to being hugely independent, and it's like, don't look at me, I'm working, you know? So that is when you call in Aquarius. And again, Aquarius is about community, it's about humanity. And when you're having a little bit of trouble asking for help, connect with others, ask them for help. And it doesn't even have to be friends. You know, with a Capricorn placement, you certainly have some people that you look up to, some people that you really admire in the career field that you're in. And so just the simple fact of like looking at their Instagram, looking at their Pinterest or a Facebook group, you know, even people that you don't know, just finding inspiration, just finding little sources of, okay, well, maybe this could actually guide me, and maybe I can try this way, you know, that freedom. It's again, that balance between stability and freedom. And for you to achieve that balance, it is important for you to find some little self-care stuff for you to incorporate into your morning routine, night routine, or just like into your month, into your weekly planning, for you to be able to really find that balance between both cusps. So one of the things, schedule time with friends. It's like every single Sunday, we're going on a brunch. It's dated Capricorn, but also you have that community side of Aquarius. You're feeding both things at the same time. Another thing is actually your spiritual friends. So don't forget about your guides. And maybe instead of a Sunday brunch, you can actually do a group meditation or a yoga class with your best friends, or where you're just connecting with other people, you know, but you're still connecting with that more spiritual side with your spiritual friends, and you're also connecting with your body. So walks are also very good for that. And again, anything that, especially music and dance, they could be very good. Also painting could be very nice for you to kind of let the inspiration flow and allow that freedom to be there. But at the same time, you have, especially with music and dance, you have that thing of the timing for the Capricorn. And not only that, but there's even like this quote that is something like, the more you use up creativity, the more there is, something around those lines. And that is totally true. So the more you let those ideas flow, the more they come in. And again, put them on paper and create a plan for them if they are like business ideas, if they are more like stable and serious ideas. And to finish it up, let's just go back into those emotions. And if you really don't feel comfortable talking about those emotions with someone, your journal can be bestie. And it is my bestie because, you know, for a very long time, I didn't really feel comfortable talking about my feelings with other people. I still sometimes don't. So my journal is really my bestie, and it can be yours too, because it really allows you to let those emotions flow. But don't forget that intimacy is a very big part of relationships, okay? And again, not only love relationships, but yeah. So Capricorn Aquarius, this is what I have for you. Definitely comment down below any suggestions around self-care that you may have, any routines that they're really important for you and that you feel like they really bring you balance. Definitely comment down below. That really helps me in my research, but also any other Capricorn Aquarius that may be looking for a little bit of guidance. And who better but another Capricorn Aquarius to help them out, right? So with that being said, don't forget to smash the like button and to subscribe if you haven't already. Again, we do have tarot readings, especially for Capricorn Aquarius cusps. So this is the place to be. And don't forget about that cusp survey. I would really appreciate it. So I love you very much. I wish you the best, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!